All right. So for all of you who were predicting that David O'Donnell wasn't who he said he was, and that maybe he was secretly working for the other side, I think we can put that theory to rest. Because in this episode, we get to meet the whole damn family, which is not something that happens in the book, I believe, but maybe it should have been, because I really enjoyed seeing that other side of him and getting that part of the story. So O'Donnell's in the clear. Tony Swan, however, is another story, but we'll get to that. So, in this episode, Reacher and O'Donnell, they head back to his place to make sure his family and are, tucked away, kept safe, while Dixon and Nagley head to Denver to the other New Age facility that we found out in the last episode about. That's where they manufacture the missiles that Little Wing will be attached to. So they get there a little bit too late because the shipment has just left, but they catch up with the load right as it's being hijacked. So it seems like AM is coordinating with Langston to steal Little Wing and the missiles and likely sell it to the highest bidder. Like, get these things together, give it to someone who wants to use it, some terrorist cell or something. So Nagley and Dixon shoot it out with some of the hijackers, and it's a pretty great scene. I especially enjoy when they just shoot the shit out of the final guy when he's trying to get away and shooting at them. Fantastic. After the shootout, they find the manifest and find out that Tony Swan is the one who signed off on all of this. So they call Reacher, give him the news. He still can't bring himself to believe it. And honestly, I'm not sure that I believe it at this point. I think this may be just thrown in there to keep us guessing. It's definitely not how the book plays out. But at the same time, I'm open to them changing some things up in the series to keep it interesting for people like me, people who already know how the story goes. They did this last season, changing up a few things to keep us guessing. And they give us a slightly different ending, some slightly different tweaks than we were expecting. And it's likely they're doing the same here, but it's quite a drastic change to make one of the special investigators a bad guy. I mean, that would be a big deviation from the book, but as I said, completely open to it because this series nails everything else. The characters, the feel, just the overall story that they're telling. They might tweak a few things here or there, but they're still essentially telling the same story, which is not something I can say for most film or series adaptations that I've seen, where they completely veered off the path of the source material. And it usually turns out a lot of fans of the source material, they're turned off by this, But this series, in my opinion, is doing it right. But my prediction is Swan is not one of the bad guys. And we'll see if I'm proved wrong in the next 3 episodes. But that's my prediction, is it's kind of a red herring. Anyway, the investigators attend the funeral of their friend Franz. And at the funeral, Detective Russo is there. And it's kind of odd. He gives this action figure to the Franz's son. And it actually sets up a perfect little meta moment, hilarious little meta reference to the fact that Alan Ritchson once played Aquaman in the TV series Smallville. He gives him a action figure. It's a generic action figure. I actually paused it and looked at it. It's just a TV generic action figure that they made. But he makes a point to tell him his favorite was always Aquaman because he could talk to fish and he wished he could talk to his dogs. Anyway, Alan Ritchson played Aquaman, and I'm sure that they stuck that in there just because of that. There's no other reason to stick that in there. So, great stuff. And I love the scene where we find out about Russo's past there when he's giving him the action figure and his explanation of why he would never be a dirty cop. But then we also find out that all the security guys at New Age are ex-dirty cops from the NYPD. Everyone but Tony Swan. So 2 snipers open fire, presumably trying to take out the special investigators. Makes sense, right? That, you know, they know that this group of special investigators, all the friends of Tony, or all the friends of Franz, are going to be together at the funeral. It's a perfect place for an ambush. Nagley kills one pretty much instantly. Russo and Reacher jump in a car and high-speed chase the other one down. Reacher chokes the truth out of him and get the guy to, you know, admit that he was hired by a guy named Swan. I still don't think it's really Swan. I don't. Anyway, they plan to spring this trap by sending this guy in to meet with the people who hired him to get paid, and they lie in wait outside. Dude goes in, building blows up, and I love it. I love the suspense, man. I love it. I think episode 4 last week has still been my favorite episode so far, but this had some great stuff in it. Like I said, the little Aquaman reference, finding out about Russo's past, and just the fact that they're leaning heavy on Tony Swan might be a bad guy, is likely a bad guy. I'm digging it. I'm digging the build up. We still got 3 episodes left. We just passed the halfway point with this episode, so now we're in the back half of the series, and we're going to start building to, you know, the big finale. So I'm excited. I'm guessing you guys are excited. Let me know how you're feeling about the series so far. Let me know in the comments below. I love that they're doing this weekly. I love it because, you know, last year they dropped all the episodes at once. It wasn't as fun to cover the episodes. They all kind of run together because you watch them back to back to back. And it's better. It builds anticipation week to week. But anyway, I'd love to hear how you guys are feeling about it. Let me know in the comments below, or you can reach out on social media at DailyBS, or I'm sorry, at Real Brett Scott, pretty much everywhere online. That's my handle, at Real Brett Scott, pretty much everywhere. But yeah, and if you're a huge Reacher fan like I am, I cover the books. I covered last year's episodes. I cover news concerning the Reacher franchise. So subscribe to the channel if you're a big fan like I am. And if you do decide to subscribe and stick around, then I'll talk to you again real soon.